want everyone to be happy and we play whatever music. I mean, music is to give that joy to everyone. And I want everyone to feel the emotion. The top emotion is joy.
Okay. So music connects you to joy.
Yes. It's not just joy, it's so many emotions coming together, but that positivity, and that's what I want to see, the positivity and the divinity of it should always be communicated. If it reaches even to 10%, I'm really happy. Even to 1%, I'm happy.
Ganesh,
Hey, Derek.
good to see you. Thank you for a beautiful performance on Vashon Island.
Thank you. We really, all of us, we really enjoyed being there. Yeah.
I'm getting requests for follows and everything on DM with some of the students and their parents, which is good, rock solid. You want the parents to be in there,
Yeah,
to do the job. But they were really beautiful. They were really talented. They were focused, and most importantly, they felt like they were really enjoying themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean, they know that they worked hard they have enjoyed the working hard part. I mean, so I think they are getting the fruits out of the labor.
How did you find them?
They found me rather.
Okay, so tell me about that. How did they find you?
So like I came here and I had few students and some people were interested in they're really interested in carrying on this, and some of them suggested. So there are a lot of people here. I mean, we can as students. So they if you come here and maybe be here for some time, then it'll be great for all of us. We want to learn. And there were few parents and who helped. There's a music school in Portland. There's a couple who, Mahesh and Malavi, who are also my students. They offered to do the visa and all that for me through their school. So, so that's how I got the visas and everything. And I've been operating since then.
So it's 10 years now?
10 years, yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
beautiful. We had no idea.
And this, what I did on that day as Tribhenna, that's the 10 years of my work here. That's one part of it, what I've tried to do as a teacher. What I've tried to do, the whole ensemble and me playing with them and all that is the 10 years of work that I put in here.
Okay.
It's that.
In that moment. So that was a magical moment then.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you to share that with us like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful coming together of many things. Not only me, I should give the credit to my wife because she's been always there supporting what I do and behind the scenes, the work that goes.
Tell us her name.
She's Sheila, and she's been here for the past 6 years now with me.
Okay.
And so she takes care of everything regarding the school, the coordination, the scheduling, everything going behind the scenes. So that's been quite helpful for me. It's more than what I put in sometimes. There's so much work to do behind. So, yeah.
Tell me about the school.
So this, it operates from here, from my home, generally. So the students come here and they've been learning but it's gone through that, phase where I started living with someone, one of my students' house. That's how it started. Then I used to have all my classes there. And some of the classes were also happening in some of the temples here. And especially the ISKCON temple in Sammamish.
Okay.
So some classes happened there because it was a bigger group and all that. I used to have some of the classes there. Then I shifted to Bellevue. When I shifted to Bellevue, the classes, most of them happened there and also in Sammamish and also at the ISKCON temple. But once I shifted here, all the classes started happening here. So, they bring the kids. I tell you, it's the children would not have been at this level without their parents' support.
Okay.
Each one of the parents are so dedicated. So just they sit through the class, they listen to what I wanted to tell them, because these are all children. So I make the parents also know what they are learning and all that, and tell them this is what they have to practice and this is what they are learning, and this they have to put in 50 times at least to get the real essence of the sound that I want. So they diligently sit and, but most of the students do it by themselves. The practice, they do it by themselves.
Okay.
They love to do it. So they love the sound. They now it's become a small community by itself.
It looked like it.
Yeah, the
Like
student community itself is so strong and very united and do their practices. They do get together. They practice amongst themselves. So it's a very, very beautiful things to see grow. Like
No, you should be very proud.
yeah, absolutely. I'm really proud. Yeah.
What is the emotion that you want the audience to feel or to sense when the students and you are performing for them?
It was so beautiful to see at Vashon when people were looking at them and smiling all the time, and I loved it.
So you want them
Because-
to be happy?
Yeah, I want everyone to be happy, and when we play and whatever music, I mean, music is to give that joy to everyone, and I want everyone to feel the emotion. The top emotion is joy.
Okay. So a connection. So music connects you to joy.
Yes.
And so, but it's different when...
It's not just joy. It's so many emotions coming together. But that positivity, and that's what I want to see, the positivity and the divinity of it should always be, communicated.
Okay.
And if it reaches even to 10%, I'm really happy. Even to 1%, I'm happy. As long as it reaches. There was one person who just told me the other day, I saw your children putting the talum like this, and I also started putting the talum. And then when I closed my eyes, he said he was able to connect with the music much better with the talum going on.
What is the talum?
Talum is the rhythmic patterns. That is part of the music itself. So we know, there is no music without rhythm. But this is, in our system, the rhythmic patterns are well established. Like it has to be in certain beats, it has to be in the number of beats, the cycles that has to be there in a song, or in the first part of the song, like the pallavi that we call it, the first part of the song, or the second part of how many cycles has to be there. So it is always a cycle, the rhythmic cycle. So rhythmic cycle, like when we say rhythmic cycle, there could be a cycle of 8 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the very, very basic cycle that we play. There are so many cycles. There's one talam called Tishra Dhruva, which is called 11 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are so many like thalas, which have so many different cycles. So that is also taught to the children, that these are things that you have to learn. You have to put the talam and recite whatever you're learning to understand it. So the rhythm becomes part of you. It is not external. So because the music has the rhythm, but how will you recognize that? But only when you put the talam and recite the notes on the talam properly. That's when you get the feel of the rhythm.
What is the intention of the music with the talum, with that rhythm? What is the state of mind, transcendence? I know this is heavy, but this is what I wanted to ask you, because you've been doing this since you were a child, like 5 years old. So it's not like, hey, I just picked up the guitar here and I'm just going to play you some songs. This has been part of who you are.
Absolutely.
So what is this thing that you're trying to convey?
Oh, beautiful. Because I didn't know about all this, when I started to play, or when I really got into the passion of playing, like the love, the romance of music with me, like.
Well, but let's talk about the romance and everything else in there, because it's like, what is it? What, because I'm interviewing and I've been working in music now for over 36 years. Not as a musician, but as a presenter, as a DJ, as a promoter, as all these things. And there's a reason why I'm doing it, because it makes me feel alive. There are moments when an artist such as yourself and others that are performing, I understand things at the time that the music is playing, that once it stops, I don't understand it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so
There's no music. Music happens only when it is being played. I mean, if it stops, then music is not there. There's no life to music. The life to music is there only when it is being played.
So what is that life?
So that life is, for a musician, I think, for me, it was never ending. So even when I stop playing, the music is still playing inside me. So it's always there. I always think about it. Or I always play with it. I think about it in different ways. I create music, even if it is there. It's different from when I sing it or play it, or put the talum and, okay, this idea I have to play on the violin, so I sit down and play on it. Otherwise, I'll just mumble something or create something. So there's different aspects to it, but I'm always in that music. So I think,
what is it like to be in that music?
oh, it's beautiful.
But what is it?
When
Is
I was
it like
young, I
water?
used to love it more, because I was more into music than when I am now. Because there are a lot of other things that I do, which takes away takes away the music in me. Something else fills it up. But when I was younger, without responsibilities, the music was always there. I would know nothing else but music. So that was a time. That was a different. It was like some different life, but
Yeah.
I can remember it.
Yeah. It becomes that. Yeah, I could feel that. Where you dedicate yourself completely. It's like first love.
Yeah.
You're just totally enwrapped in it, and it's a magical place, but
Oh yeah.
reality comes in.
Yeah, because many of the time I would just keep playing, and my dad used to come and tell me, "Come on, you've been playing from morning 10 o'clock. It's already 6. It's dusk. Just get out of that place. Do something else." So I wouldn't remember the time.
Okay.
I wouldn't remember the time that I spent on.
Is it require you to recite some poetry or something to kind of explain to me, like what was it like to be in there?
It was you don't know. I mean, I didn't know what I was, how the time flew. Like it was there have been goosebumps moment for me, like, but there are no words to explain that. It's the time stops. They say time stops because, in a way, because you don't know the time. You are far away from time. So that
You transcend time. You're in a
Yeah.
different space, a different
different
dimension.
space, maybe, like, but at the end, the experience is so beautiful that you want to come again and do it
Mm-hmm.
the next day or a few hours later. So that, I think, is a very, very special part of life that you can't miss out on. That's what I feel, and I want to give these children some part of it, so that I want them to feel it.
Is this why you're teaching? Is to get the children to have the same experience that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. That's also there. Yeah, because when I teach, it's a very emotional and passionate thing for me. But I want them to love it also. Like, I mean, also, like, kind of like what they are doing. It's not very serious, because I'm coming from a place where I've enjoyed it so much that I cannot say how much I've enjoyed it through any words. It's only through the music that I pass on that I can tell them what I feel about how I do it. I think some of it, I think the children are able to understand, because some of them are really, really interested in, even now wanting to take up as a career and see how they can flourish as a musician. They want to do
Okay.
it. So if I have been able to even give that kind of passion into them, I'm so lucky. I feel lucky
Yeah.
because it's not only the gift that's come to me as music, but I'm able to pass on that gift to someone. That's beautiful. And it starts right from my brother, who is a very, very, he's a genius by himself, like he's a beautiful player. And my son, uh, he's a different generation, like, so he also is very passionate about it. And now these children, so there are so many of them that I've given a part of my passion to them.
This is beautiful. Thank you. But let's go even one step higher. What is it about music that forces you to dedicate your life?
That's a very beautiful question, because I don't know. I always say in so many words that it's the language of the divinity, the language of the gods that we say, because in our pantheon of gods, like when you say that goddess of knowledge, Saraswati, she has a veena. She's got an instrument. Lord Krishna is the most powerful god, like, so Lord Krishna, he plays the flute. Lord Shiva, he plays the dhamaru. He plays a. It said that the dhamaru, it's through that sound that entire universe has been created, and all the syllables of all the languages have been created through the dhamaru. That's what they say. So I think about all that, and these all those things come into my mind, and say, oh, so I'm communicating something. I'm in a very, very different dimension. I'm creating that sound in a different dimension. And I have to live with that fact that I might not know it, but I can experience it, which is much more important than the experience of it, because it's inside me, from where I'm getting the experience. It's not from outside, the experience is inside. And also the music is from inside, not outside. So I feel that I'm really blessed that way. And I'm also able to communicate that when I play. And if I play, and if the audience is able to appreciate it, I mean, not even understand it, because even me, I don't understand what it is. But so that communication part, if it gels, like, I mean, the people appreciate it, I'm over.
How do you know they're appreciating it?
When I see them smile,
Okay.
they nod their head, when they are also clapping, when they are, when there is some smile, some laugh coming out from that side, appreciating it. Because in India, what happens, you will know that they are appreciating, because it's very informal audience. They say sabash, bale, and all that. You can hear from the audience. But here it's not like that.
Very formal.
Yeah, very formal, and also not everywhere, but most of the places, it's like they are quiet. They don't know. I mean, whether they'll offend the artist if they say something or do something. So that's why they don't do it. It's not that they don't want to orally appreciate it, but in India it's different. But I see that even in the middle of me playing something, they clap. So I know that they love it. That's why they're clapping. It's not because they want to say no, just stop playing. So that way, I'm happy that something good is happening.
Okay, so you're feeling it. Perfect. So you're telling me that the concert was incomplete, Ganesh.
It's not incomplete, but I thought that what we did was packaged by itself, like, it's a full meal. But we had something in mind. So something that I developed after coming here the past 10 years. Something called SwaraYoga. Like, what is, because in our music, what happens is, last 30 years, we've gone into this mode of music only with lyrics. So our
Sure.
our ancestors, our gurus, and everyone, they have given us music in the form of the composition, the form of lyrics. Yes, but playing instrument, playing instruments, I've always felt that it kind of limits you to a certain way of playing, certain way of understanding. So I have to expose it more. So in that way, when that's why I do a lot of these compositions where there are no lyrics.
Yeah.
That those kind of composition, those kind of repertoire, I call them as raga pravagam. That's what I call them, as raga pravagam. But
What does that mean?
raga pravagam means the flow of ragas. The more than that. Pravagam means it's more flowing in a very, very ferocious way, like very
Like okay.
overflowing with raga.
Like a flood.
Not in a negative way, but in a very, very positive
Like it's just moving. You're just a channel.
Yeah. So that's what it means. So in that context, when I was thinking of all these things, so I was thinking, so what is behind these lyrics? Behind these lyrics is also music, which are all notes. So why don't, and in our music, we also have something called devotional music. It's all devotional, but we also have bhajan music where you sing. It's more like to chant the name of the God in musical forms. So this is bhajan. So I thought even behind the bhajans, it was only music. It was only the notes.
Mm-hmm.
So why not create something just with the notes, and you can have the same feeling. So the idea is to bring out that essence of music, which is meditative, at the same time gives you the fulfillment in what you do.
But a bhajan is it's a devotional. It's a prayer.
It's a prayer.
meditation.
How do you do the bhajans in music? It's in music, you do it through the notes, right? So even when the words are in praise of something, lot of verbs, lot of nouns and all that, when you chant the name of Rama, Krishna, or whatever you do, so it's the repetition of the name, but behind that it's only the notes.
Okay.
So why don't we do that with the notes instead of having
the words?
Lyrics instead of words.
So this makes it fully understandable.
Give you the same kind of feel that you could have in a bhajan. Same thing, because it's only because of the music, because of the rhythm, it's because of the music that you get that feel of that, the climactic feel or meditative feel. It all happens, it's only because of the notes and the rhythm.
But this goes back to that initial question that I posed to you. Why music? What is the thing that goes on there? And you just answered an aspect of it, because it creates a transcendent state. A bhajan, a prayer, a meditation creates transcendence. Music is one of those magical things that you don't need to understand it to feel it.
Yes.
To be connected with it.
It's an experience. That's why I said it's more of an experience, which you go through, and that's when you call it. You go to a different dimension. You call it transcendental, right? So I think that is what is the main goal of music, to give that Brahmananda, the Ananda, the bliss, the end of bliss. The
What's the word for that?
That's why we call it Brahmananda. Brahmananda. The Anand, Brahmananda. It's the ultimate feeling of bliss.
Nice. It's beautiful that you actually have words for these states. Yeah. Instead of just happy, sad. There, you actually codified it in a way.
Yeah.
As you have with the music.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I think, it gives you that feel. That's why music. I think music. There's a music in everyone, which has to be kindled. Otherwise, you would not know it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so true. So true.
So I think Swar Yoga is one pattern or one of the ways to kindle that music in you, because with me, you can also chant. It's not that I'm doing it alone by myself. Because in a concert, I do everything on my own and you're just sitting and listening to it. That's it. But as an audience, you can interact with me. So when I sing, you sing back because it is simple. It is simple. At the same time, it gives you the joy of singing because you can sing, because everybody can sing. That's what I feel. Everybody wants to sing also.
Yeah.
So I think Swar Yoga, that's a beautiful. I've done it in few temples and all that. It's everybody has enjoyed it. So I just wanted to bring it as part of this ensemble, because the ensemble will also, I will sing, after that the ensemble will play, so that when the audience is going to sing, it will be like a layer.
This is perfect, actually, to experiment with something like this, because you're presenting something that is
Universal. Yeah.
And this isn't. I use the analogy of cuisine to music.
Why not?
Because you don't need to understand the repertoire. I'm having this amazing paneer here right now, and coffee that your wife graciously offered us. Thank you. I don't need to know the whole history of Indian cuisine and to appreciate this.
Absolutely, yeah.
The same with music from India. I don't need to,
You don't have to. I mean, the music, by itself, it has to transcend that barrier of many things. Just give the emotion out. I mean, you should be able to feel some kind of emotion. That's what's the greatness of instrumental music. That's what I felt. In vocal music, what happens, because of the lyrics present, the music it gives a meaning to music. But in an instrumental music, each one of the person who is listening to the music can have his or her own story going with the music. It need not be the same.
And I think also there's a particular kind of independence and power to instrumental music, especially like the way you describe it, that it can't be co-opted by nationalism or propaganda. You can't suddenly insert a bunch of hateful lyrics or ridiculous lyrics in there. It allows the human condition to work its way out. This is interesting. Yes. I want to talk to you more about it later, because the impact of instrumental music globally has grown dramatically. The music industry is screwed up right now. I would use different words, but we want to have a good, proper audience with this. But there are certain things that have bubbled up that people are learning more, have more access to music, and they're finding certain reflections of that music to where they are right now. They've never been to India. Yes. Tikka masala is the closest they've ever experienced
that's true,
to this, but it has a resonance within them that makes their lives just feel more potent and powerful than ever. Like examples of the obvious ones: Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Ravi Shankar, Ali Akbar Khan, and others. They came
Zakir Bhai.
Exactly, brought something, and it's there. Zakir.
Yes. He just opened the door to heaven. He was the bridge, because actually I've composed a song called "The Bridge of Love" in the other album that you heard the other day. And there's a story behind it, but I want to dedicate it to Zakir Bhai, because he was the bridge for everyone to appreciate Indian music in its own way in this age and time.
Yeah.
Because what Pandit Ravi Shankar did for us is always, it's world renowned. Like everyone knows. I mean, without him, Indian music wouldn't have had an icon. Like he's the icon for Indian music. But after that, it's been Zakir Bhai.
Yeah.
Who's been the bridge between everyone. and Indian music.
Yeah.
So he showed what Indian music can do. I mean, and he's an amazing person. We never expected him to go so soon.
No, I mean, it was a long, good life too, though. It's not like,
No, that's true. But being with him for more than 30 years, it's like, losing a part of you, because he's been a mentor, guru for
and just
me.
a good, fun person
One person, yeah.
to be with,
Oh,
like
yeah.
somebody who's been through
Great
so much. I
friend.
know.
And I used to, bounce my ideas with him, send music to him, ask him his opinion about things. I miss that person, like
Oh, I bet. I
that.
bet. That's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
yeah, that's very sad. He came here. He was the first person to come here and bless me in this house.
Ah, you're killing me right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's such a darling. I mean, not just to me, to my wife, to my children, to all of us. I mean, our whole entire family, because my brother, my sister in law, my sister, everyone, he has touched everyone's life. And he has touched everyone's life means I'm not just saying mine. Even, you won't believe this. He just wanted to see me how I'm settled, because he was always worried that if I come to the US, because I told him even before coming here, I told him that I want to come here, set up. People are calling me. I just want to come and see how things are. Why do you want to do this? This is what happened to Raviji. He's opened a school. I mean, he told me a couple of stories and all that. You should be performing. You should be doing this thing, that thing, and all that. But yeah, if you want to do it,
It becomes intoxicating because you want more and more of it. I keep equating this to cuisine. I remember the first time I had Indian food, the first time I had Thai food. I grew up in Poland. We didn't have those things. I grew up in the communist Poland.
oh, okay.
And so there was no interaction. So that first taste exploded. I had no idea that I had,
So many other
things in my tongue that could feel like this. And the same with music. I did not know that I could feel this way. And these things making sense to me in these particular modalities and just the instrumentation, the stories. And I haven't spent much time in India. A little bit. India is a universe.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's like there is no like. It's like, what are you talking about? There's so much,
So much, yeah.
so much going on there, but it's not like overwhelming. It's just this beautiful journey. Just like with music and cuisine, you want more and more and more of it,
Yes.
and that becomes a life. And so you've actually
Live that life. Yeah.
you're living. No, not living. You're living that life right now. But now here's another aspect. We're in America. We're in Seattle. We're in Covington. We're in a very new part of America.
Yes.
This city is 150 years old.
Yes.
I've stayed in hotels and buildings older than this place. So, but it's also a story of immigrants. Most of this country is immigrants. I'm an immigrant. You're an immigrant. We bring aspects of our heritage, our past, whether consciously or subconsciously. You consciously, because you are presenting and teaching and offering this music. This is an interesting time for South Asian immigrants in the United States. For a long time, they were just, little neighborhoods. When I came to America, I lived in a tiny little Polish neighborhood in Boston. The South Asian community is at the upper echelon of power,
Yes.
corporate, and also you see the complexity of that community. You have people within a South Asian community that are looking at different members of their community with it's not all the same. It's like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I love that
It's
guy.
always, I mean, to put two people in one room, and there's politics already.
Yeah, it's true. But for the general population to see it here, it's fascinating because it makes it a much more robust, more compelling, and fulfilling experience. I've had this working in tech. I see this in sports. I see this in government and politics.
Everything, yeah.
Because you're bringing in thousands and thousands of years of a way of doing things, a way to understanding things. And so that I am I'm an immigrant. I love immigrants. I love immigration. I think right now what we're going through is like a weird pivot. It's going to get better. It always does. But as a musician, as somebody who's decided to take on this role of, I'm going to share my heritage, my culture, in the most powerful and yet at the most fragile, interesting way. We talked about musicians and surviving, and this music suddenly being truncated to 5-minute pieces to fit recordings, streaming, all of those things make it more available instantaneously. It's magical, but yet there isn't enough of the story behind it so that the audience, when we started our conversation, I asked you, what did you want the audience to feel, to know? And you said happy. And you want them to connect. But there is this, oh, that's a nice song, I feel good. But that's just like the top little layer. There's so much more in there that can be learned, offered, and shared.
And happy from here, the emotion of happiness, not from just knowing what is happening. I mean, I like this. It's not like the audience sitting here and saying that I like his smile or I like the nod. Oh, his hair, is different. Kind of not that, I mean, I just want the emotion of happiness from inside, like from your bottom of your heart. You smile and then say like this. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's the communication. That's the beauty of music that should be communicated, I think.
I was in the audience, obviously, and I was looking around because we were doing this on Vashon Island. Vashon Island doesn't have a South Asian community.
Yes.
It doesn't have a restaurant or anything like that. Any of those things that are like, okay, we're here, we set up shop, samosas, great. But people understood it. They got it. And I'm always going back to this poem by the poet Rumi. And he says that people that often speak the same language don't understand each other at all. But people that have the same feelings understand each other clearly. People were having the same feelings.
Wow. Thank you so much. Really.
And this was an understanding where they didn't need to know the history or anything. Now they're curious. Now they're actually going to come again and tell their friends and so forth and so on. So we create that exchange. But it becomes super interesting because it's not like you're presenting a new fusion, a new sound or whatever. You've done the work. Your father has done the work. Your brother is doing the work. Your son, you're continuing with this. And so I'm going to ask you a tough question, my friend Ganesh. If you were to explain what the historical purpose of this music was, it's devotional, it's connecting to experiences, but you don't need to be religious, you don't need to be Hindu to understand this on an emotional way. How do you play to try to convey that or connect with an audience like that doesn't have that pedigree, hasn't gone through all of that schooling, knowing that you can actually, even at times, circumvent that and get right to we talked about this, get there, yeah.
So I think I have to be natural. I just don't have to be put on or something. I have to be very natural in what I do. That's what I was one student who was so happy when when people around him wanted to listen to him, and he went ahead and got the violin down and then he played and everybody was very happy. So one thing was about the sound itself, what we produce as musicians. So what I told him was, it's very easy for you to get an opportunity to play. It's after that where your work will show. The moment you play, your sound is what is going to attract. If you had put in 1,000 hours, 5,000 hours, 10,000 hours, 100,000 hours, it'll all show up at that point of time. The moment you take your bow out and you bow, at that time, everyone decides whether to listen to you or not. So if you have that sound of tapasya, sadhana, or practice, simple terms, if you have that, that's when also practice is not just going all over the place. It's about repeating the same thing. Repeating the same thing again and again and again and again, and honing your skill. There's one sweet called halwa. I don't know whether you know this sweet. They make it out of everything, like milk and
halwa.
For example,
Sesame.
Carrot halwa. For example, carrot halwa. So what they do is they put carrot and they have the milk boil. The milk boils and boils and boils, and in the end, with the carrot on, from a 1 kilo carrot, you will get a sweet of 100 grams. So that 100 grams is so tasty, so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is because of the excruciating pain of being boiled for about an hour. Then you are there to just stir it again and again. That's when it becomes the halwa. So you have to become the halwa. Unless you become the halwa, it will not taste like that.
It will not taste like that. And it's so true, because it is both in cuisine and in music. I have seen musicians play the same instrument, and some musicians, such as yourself, I'm not just saying like because you're here, it's transcendent. It's the same instrument. It's the same. You're not doing anything weird. It's just a bow and strings and wood. It's like, it is what it is. But you're able to do something with that. I have other musicians that I know that, like, whether it's piano or saxophone, whatever, it's the halva.
Yeah, it's halva.
They've worked it.
So in our system, we have the yantras for propitiating whatever you want, the desire. There's a yantra to which you do puja every day and all that. So it's said that the yantra is where the god resides. So yantra is in the form of a diagram. It's not a photo. It's a diagram. It's a mathematical, geometrical diagram. So for every god, actually, there is a yantra. So through which you propitiate the god. So it's a very tantric way of doing rituals. So when you do again and again, repetition, in the with the positive idea, with the positivity that you want this desire to be fulfilled, they say that it gets fulfilled because of your sadhana, because of your practice of that again and again and again. It's the same thing. So that's how it's inculcated into every child who comes to learn, that it's only through repetition. It's not just like you have to learn it for fun. Yeah, you can learn it for fun, but even then, when it's fun, that rigor of doing your practice should not slacken just because you're going to have fun, because the fun should happen. Fun actually will happen only when you start practicing.
Got it. Okay. So it is that it's a journey.
Absolutely, it's a journey.
Okay. So, Ganesh, thank you for taking us on this journey.
Thank you. My pleasure.
This
Derek.
is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning, yes.
Okay. All right. You are watching Sama Music and Art. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sama. Thank you, Derek. It was a great talking to you.